Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Referrals Podcast. Today, it is... I keep going back to the dog, right? B-I-N-G-O. Bingo was his name, right? And today we're going to talk about bingo. And is there anything cooler than shouting bingo when you're playing bingo and winning? I will tell you today, you are going to win, not by playing bingo, but by holding and hosting a bingo event. I cannot wait to dive into this subject today with our special guest. And before I do that, I've got to throw it out to you, is you've been listening to the Referrals Podcast. We've talked a lot about self-mastery. We've talked a lot about relationship mastery. We've talked a lot about event mastery. All of that rolls all up into referral mastery. The question is what topics would you like to see in the future on Referrals Podcast? We'd love to hear from you. You can easily email us at podcast@referco.com. Here's the other thing. Would you make a great guest for Referrals Podcast? If so, email us podcast@referco.com. REFERCO.com. Here's the other thing. If you have not checked out Event Mastery yet, I have to tell you, what are you waiting for? When is a great time to start getting a ton of referrals? Not onesies, twosies, but dozens of referrals. That's what we teach in Event Mastery. Go to eventmastery.com or eventmasteryclass.com. Check it out when you get a second. And after today, you're going to be even more convinced that you need to hold and host events like this one today. Speaking of today, I am so honored and privileged to have our guest today. Chris Fritch is the leader of the Chris Fritch team with eXp Realty, located in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Chris grew up in the real estate industry. It has surrounded him his whole life. His father was an agent for many years. His sister, a stager. Brother, a builder. Another sister worked as a developer. His son is an agent on the team, and his son-in-law is also an agent. You talk about, like, you heard of teams that are like family first, and they just say family first, even though none of them are related. This is a family first team. Are you kidding me? So it was no surprise when Chris started his career in real estate in 1987. He began as a solo agent, like most agents, and was the first in his Minnesota brokerage to hit $1 million in gross commercial income under the age of 30. Chris went on to develop a very successful team, closing over, get this, 230 homes a year and $80 million in volume. Throughout his career, Chris knows that what it is like to hit bottom and succeed at the very highest level. This has made him into the powerhouse he is today. Chris's passion is giving back to others. You're going to see that a lot today in today's interview. He pours into his clients, his team, as well as charities near and dear to his heart. He is proud to be the presenting sponsor for St. Jude's Children's Hospital and the Dylan Witchen Foundation. The goal this year for the Chris Fritch team is to donate $100,000 to this foundation. Living in the northern suburbs of Minneapolis, Chris spends most of his free time with friends and family. He is a grandpa, believe it or not. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're shaking your head right now. There's no way this guy's a grandpa. He looks too good for that. He is a proud grandpa of 3. He's also an avid hunter and fisherman and an adrenaline junkie. If it is outdoors, active, and has at least a little bit of risk associated with it, count him in. The other thing about this is I have to give Carla Pierce-Gala a huge thank you. She is the one who referred him to me. Chris is going to be a certified referral trainer very soon, and he is one of my personal coaching clients. I don't take on very many coaching clients, but I have to tell you, Carla referred him to me. I have to say thank you to Carla. And just this week, we had our coaching call. He explained to me he just closed on a $3.6 million listing, and they have 24 pendings this month. This guy knows what he's talking about. I can't wait to share the wisdom of Chris Fritch with you today. Chris Fritch, welcome to Referrals Podcast.
Thanks, Michael. Great to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. Man, you've done a lot. And I love the $100,000 donation every single year that you're doing with the foundation. And I have to tell you, right before we even jump into this, I mean, who does this? And for those of you that are on YouTube, you can kind of see this. But he sent me 2 pages of notes and outlines on the Red Wagon Bingo. I was like, hey, I'm kind of interested in learning more about this Red Wagon Bingo event. He sends me 2 tight pages, and here's what we'll do. If you're okay with this, Chris, is it okay if I share this
Sure.
with the people who are listeners and viewers? This is gold.
Yeah.
This is literally 2 pages. This is like 2 pages of golden ticket to referrals. I love that you did that. Thank you so much. And before we dive into the Red Wagon Bingo event, I want to talk about your yearly appreciation plan as a whole. You've got more than one event throughout the year. So what else do you do besides the Red Wagon Bingo event?
We do many things. We do some just client appreciation events because we definitely appreciate their business and want to show that as well. And also we do in June we have a shoot for the cure coming up. That's a sporting clays shoot. Basically, for those who don't know, kind of like a trap shoot, only you walk from station to station and shoot different areas and those types of things.
Here's what I love about the shoot is that this is so you. You know what I mean? Like you're an avid hunter. So it makes a ton of sense for you to host an event like that. Is it for everybody in your network? No, not everybody's going to come out, right? Not necessarily a super family event. It's a shoot. It's adult. It's cool, right? I mean, it's like, but here's the thing. You love to do that. So guess what everybody that's coming to this is going to see? They're going to see you on fire. They're going to see your passion. And I think that's a really important thing with events is you do you. Don't do an event that you hear from us if it's not you. If you're not going to be passionate about it, if you're not going to be excited about it, then don't do it. You got to be excited, right, about the event.
Absolutely.
So I absolutely love that you're doing that. You've got a special MC this year too.
Laura Shera, she's a TV personality here locally, and she's going to co-host it with me. And also, she's up for auction to shoot on somebody's team, and she's one heck of a shot. So she's doing that, and we just, our sponsors are just incredible. People are coming out of the woodwork to support this event, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
So once again, we're giving lessons with everything that you say. I mean, have a celebrity at your event, and if they're excellent at what the event is, that's even better. Did you also hear when he said that he's auctioning her to be on one of the teams and she is a crack shot? I mean, that's beautiful, and it's going to raise more money for the charity. I love it. And that's just the shoot. What else do you do besides the shoot during your yearly appreciation plan?
Yep. So then, basically we, in November, we set up our plan for the year, and then we just stick by it. We don't alter it or just try to throw something else in, because that goofs things up a little bit and confuses things at times. And plus, you can't ask your audience, go to the well so many times. And, just if you keep doing that, then it's, it starts to get overwhelming for some people.
Yeah.
We've got great sponsors and great donors and things like that, but we definitely, appreciate what they do, and we don't want to come after monthly. So we just did the bingo event last month, and this June 2nd is the shoot. July 28th will be our golf tournament. That's a big event. That's 288 golfers. We also, it comes with a dinner and a bunch of prizes and a ton of games and stuff like that, just to raise money. And
here's what we got to do is we're going to have to bring you back on to talk about those other events. What we've done is just tease those so much. I have like 5,000 questions about all of those. Like, you didn't start out with 288 golfers for your golf event. I mean, and people are like, oh, golf event, I could do that. That sounds fun. That sounds great. And it's like, I'd love to talk about that process sometime. But what I really want to dive deep into today is the Red Wagon Bingo event, because it's family friendly. It's not weather related. Right? Your shoot is a little bit weather related. Your golf tourney, a little bit weather related. So we got to watch the weather a little bit and hope to get a good day. Whereas bingo, anybody that's listening to this could run this next month or 2 months from now. They could run it any time of the year. And it's such, you have just taken this to such a phenomenal level. I have to ask right off the bat is, all right, it's called the Red Wagon Bingo event, which I love because it's not just like a client appreciation event. Please come. It's got a great name to it. And the name has a story, I understand.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. So it all started back in 2014. John Schmidt, a guy on my team, my lead buyer specialist, suggested this. He's really good friends with the Dylan Witchen family. And I also knew Dylan, and Dylan went to school and was between my two kids at the high school. And Dylan ended up getting hit on a football field. And so they took him into the hospital and did an x-ray and found a tumor. They immediately went down to St. Jude's Hospital. That's where he wanted to go. And he was made his recovery and then came back and was good for a while. Then it came back more aggressively, and he unfortunately lost his life.
So it was cancer? He had cancer?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, do you know what kind by any chance?
It was a brain cancer.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
It wasn't caused by the hit, right? It was that he got hit, had an examination, and then they discovered it. So it's too bad. This hit could have been like a lifesaver.
Right. Yeah. That does happen. Yeah.
So it kind of did. I guess it helped him a little bit, but
sure.
So passed away, and so how'd that get you in touch with St. Jude's?
So John suggested that we, take a look at this foundation and see if it's something that we wanted to partner with, and because our plan was to not just write a check or anything, we wanted to get involved, partner, and those types of things. So we met with the Witchens, Deb and Ed Witchen, and seemed to be just a great fit for us locally, as well as St. Jude nationally, worldwide actually. But that was the biggest fit. So the first year we had a minimum of being a presented sponsor for the St. Jude Walk and Run. At that time was $10,000. We thought, how the heck are we going to do this? 10 grand. I mean, it seems pretty tall. So we set up a program. We donate $100 of our brokerage fee at every closing in our client's name. And each of my agents do that, and it's in their contract. And then I also have admin that are off the charts great at what they do as far as these orders, because I certainly don't put these things together on my own. I have a lot of help. My wife Peggy and Sherry, she's one of our transaction coordinators, but she's also our event planner. So that helps a lot. But that basically the Red Wagon bingo, how we got into that was we toured St. Jude down in Memphis and the Target House both. Brought my team down there. It's a good idea for them to know what they're getting behind and why.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah. So we flew down there and we're down there for 2 nights, 3 days, and toured the hospital. And the neat thing about that was you went in there and it's not a doom and gloom place. It's a real happy place. We're going around just checking out the different parts of the hospital, and these kids were getting hauled around in red wagons. And so that's how they transport them. If they're able to be in a red wagon, that's how they get brought from appointment to appointment. And we were talking with the person that we work with here from Minnesota, and she says, yeah, that's red wagons. And my wife Peggy asked, well, how much do they cost? And you guys have a lot of them? And she goes, well, we do run short, because they get used a lot and we can't keep, up the inventory. So lo and behold, she started Red Wagon Bingo, suggested that, and the crew ran with it. And it's kind of her baby, but the Red Wagon Bingo is just a thing that's what we call it.
Yeah. So every time, the donations from this essentially buy red wagons for the St. Jude's in Memphis. Yeah.
Right. So our last bingo event, we actually tripled in size as far as what we got out of it. We were able to, because it's not we don't ask for donation sponsors or anything like that at this event. It's just more of a client appreciation. Come and play, bring your family. It's at Rivers Bend Bar and Grill, which Deb and Ed actually own. the Witchens own. So we also like to bring them business if we can. It just
Yeah.
works real well.
I
So
love that. Oh my
yeah,
God. I mean, it's amazing how logical and how this all fits together like a beautiful
yeah.
puzzle. And I think it's one of those where when you do something good for people, for the world, like this is the kind of thing that starts to happen.
Mhm.
Is it's like, oh my gosh, that's a great fit. Oh my gosh, that's a great fit. Oh, and we could help the family out too. And we could, I
Mhm.
absolutely love how this all came together. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It really is.
And we're fortunate to be able to be a part of it.
So that was one of the things I wanted to ask is what makes a good bingo venue? Like and you explained on Riverbend, it happens to be their restaurant, the
Hmm.
family of the foundation fund, restaurant. So that makes a lot of sense. And, they're there, right, for sure. And they're able to speak and they feel comfortable and you feel comfortable, right?
Right, right.
So what makes a good venue? What do I need to look for if I want to have a bingo event?
Identify the size of your audience. If it is a bingo event, like we're talking about, we prefer to have it at a venue like this because there's food and beverages available,
Mm-hmm.
and that keeps people around a little longer. They're not running off to eat or running home to grab a beer when they could just sit there and play. And boy, they do. And
I'm
you want
sure.
to kind of estimate what your crowd's going to be. We didn't anticipate this many people this year. Matter of fact, I think we pushed the limit of occupancy in that place. We had over 240 people, I believe,
Jeez.
at this event, and you know it it just works well for us, and it's local, so yeah, there's
I
nothing.
love that you're doing a restaurant,
Yeah,
right? I mean, some people might think, well, I'll do it at a bingo parlor. Well,
right,
some bingo parlors don't have food, and
right,
some bingo parlors don't necessarily have alcohol. Some
right.
do, but the thing is if you have it at restaurant, it goes back to where should you have a poker event? You should
Hmm.
not do a poker event at a casino. You should do a poker event in a restaurant or a bar
Right.
because there's food and drink. They're going to, I mean, like you said, they stayed, sat, and played till the end of the event.
Hmm.
Why? All their needs were taken care of. And it
Right,
was fun. And
right,
people were, interacting and that kind of thing.
absolutely.
So, did you happen to have I know you have great sponsors for your shoot and your golf tournament. Did you have sponsors for the bingo event?
No, what we do is, I mean, we take donations if anybody wants to donate a basket. A lot of our mortgage companies and title companies do that, some type of, or something for a child to win. Most of the time, the team goes and gets those. As a norm, we look for three things out of each individual agent, and then plus the other things that we organically get and or donated.
Love it. Do we need anything with audio visual? Do you think about anything with? I mean, with 240, it might have been tough to hear. Did you
Yeah,
do anything there?
yeah. So we have well, video for the obviously for the bingo. We had to show that, and then also, yeah, we have audio throughout the whole place. Yeah. So
Great.
the bingo caller. I mean, they can hear all through the whole venue.
And I'm guessing you are not the bingo caller.
I am not.
So one thing that I want everybody here to understand, and this is why Chris makes the ultimate guest right now, in my opinion, is Chris has mastered leverage. I always tell people the who is not you. The who is not you. It's like who should greet people at the registration table? Not you. Who should be the MC? Not you. Who should be in charge of the food or drink? Not you. The who is not you. You are there to literally be a server and a host and make sure everybody's having a good time. And if you're tied to a role other than that role, then you end up struggling. You end up getting caught. You end up getting trapped in a way, time wise, and then the event could be frustrating. Here's the other thing a lot of people like to think that, oh, well, nobody's going to help me, or I'm going to have to pay them, so I'll do it myself. So guess what? They do it by themselves. It's really exhausting. They get tied up. They don't have the success that they should have. And they think, well, events don't work. But the truth is, if the who is not you, people will help. They want to help. You don't have to pay them.
Mhm.
And guess what? you're going to have a great time. And the more roles people have, the more people that are coming to your event, and the happier the people with the roles are. Give them roles to do, and all of a sudden they're not just standing there or wondering what to do. And the best people to give roles to are introverts, because the introverts are not going to naturally mingle. But if they have a role, then they will fulfill their role at a really high level. So I'm telling you, Chris, that's what I hope people get out of this. Is I keep going back to, you're like, I've got this MC celebrity, host for the shoot. I've got, this for the food. I've got this for, the caller, for the bingo caller. It's always someone else. You just think in terms of leverage faster than almost anybody I know. I absolutely love that. So what type of marketing or communication did you do around the bingo event?
So what we do is as far as with this is it's a client appreciation. So naturally we go to our clients, which we have their contacts, information, and so they receive emails, texts, those things, and also we use it to touch our clients as well. I mean, reach out to them and for a reason why. So we have call nights here on the team, and everybody's in the office and everybody's calling their database or their top 50 of the people that they really enjoy being around and having them there, and they know that they would enjoy the event as well. So we do that, and boy, this year, having that many people at a bingo event was pretty amazing. And we had staff there, and of course they're running the prizes. And when we do the bingo itself, we play till, if an adult wins, we keep playing till a child wins. So that child there's always a kid coming up and getting. So something.
You play until an adult wins, and then you play until a child wins. I love that.
Yeah, we don't. If a child wins first, then we don't play till adult wins. Then they're out.
Okay.
So all we care about mostly, and when we probably have the most child's gifts and prizes there for them, and because they love it. I mean, when they scream bingo, it's fun.
I love it. The whole family is a part of that show. And here's the thing that I love: it doesn't take a lot of skill to play bingo. No. So what's really cool, you want people's attention. The bingo caller has everybody's attention. Everybody is like, you can drop a pen when they're getting ready to say the number, because it's like, you got to hear it and you got to see it. So it's like, you got an ADHD kid and they're paying 100% attention for 2 or 3 hours. And it's like, how the heck did we do that? And it's like, yeah, because you got to pay attention to win, and the kids want to win and the people want to win. So, I talk a lot on this show, and when I teach event mastery, I break it down into 5 real sequences. Number 1 is the planning sequence, which is what we're kind of talking about now. And then I talk about the invitation sequence, the confirmation sequence, the event sequence, and then the follow-up sequence. And that's kind of the order we're going as we go through this podcast. And, when it comes to RSVPs, sometimes people get hung up on that. I hope everybody heard the call night, because that's something we teach in event mastery, and we harp on it. You need to have a call night and have it with other people so it's more fun. And you can have pizza and beer or wine and cheese or something at the call night and make it more fun, make it competitive. Have a bell you ring. There's several episodes of Referrals podcast on call night specifically. I love that you're doing that. Now, you've got all these different people calling. You want to keep it to 240 here. So how do you streamline the RSVP process? Where do the RSVPs go? The people who say they're coming.
They go to Sherry, to our website. We have a sign up on there that we use, that you can sign up online and actually join. And then that kind of keeps track of everything. But Sherry keeps track of when we're at max capacity and we've got to, stop taking people in. But of course, always, apologizing and inviting them next year, and that type of thing. But yeah,
and that just leads to people registering faster next time.
Right.
That's the thing. If I were going to do a bingo event and it was my first one, I would literally shoot for 25 to 40 people, just because then you're going to probably get 40 people, and you're going to have to tell the rest, it's like, hey, listen, we just don't have room, but we'll have another one down the road. Well, it creates demand. Scarcity creates demand. So,
The housing
having
market.
those 25 to 50 seats is maybe better than, hey, if Chris can get 240, I'm going to do 240. Well, no, you can't with your first event, most likely, right? So, I love that you did that. Um, and then also you've been using QR codes quite a bit. I love that you've
Mhm.
incorporated that so they can scan it to
Right.
go directly to the Google Doc and register, right?
Yep. Yep.
Love that. Um, okay, and then all right, so let's talk about confirmation. They've RSVP'd. They said they're coming. It's when do you confirm with them?
Well, we take it as it is right there. So the day leading up about 3 days before, every day its notification goes out just as a reminder.
I love it.
And so you don't really, I mean, you could call and ask them, yeah, I'm going, I signed up, whatever. But you just doing that, and if people aren't going to make it, they tend to call and say that they're not, but they'll say, just keep my donation. I don't want it back. I'm sorry, I can't make it. Something came up, whatever it may be. But yeah, we don't have a problem with that at all, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, and you're reminding them every day for 3 days. I
And
mean,
in front of them. Yep.
yeah. And I think it's one thing is also is that you have such demand for your events now
Yeah.
that they're like, no, we're coming. I mean, they're going to make it happen because they know they're one of a select few. For
Hmm.
those of you that are listening and watching, another thing too is notice that they made a little donation in the beginning. Well, that donation is also commitment. When they make the donation, they're also committing to coming to the event for the most part. And if they can't make it, then keep the donation. But by the way, do you anticipate some people not making it? Do you take RSVPs for greater number, or do you not want to take more than the capacity?
It depends on the event. Like the golf event, we won't want to do that because then they get there, won't be able to golf. But
Right.
I mean, you can always squeeze an extra, 5, 10 people in a restaurant, if need be. So that's kind of what we do there.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah.
Yeah. Love that. And the other part of this too is that uh, the communication, right? So much communication is going on. What's really cool is you don't even have to call to confirm anymore because they're calling you to let you know whether they can make it or not. Well, how does that happen? Well, it happens because Chris has such great communication with his database throughout the entire year. So them calling to just say, "Hey, I can't make it," is just part of this open line of communication that is going on. What too many people, it's like there's dead. The communication with the database is dead. So there's no calls from the database and there's no calls from the team. So guess what? You're not going to get any referrals from the database. But because there's such an open, that's what the yearly appreciation plan does.
Right.
And this series of events does for people is there's always a reason to talk. And when you have a reason to talk, there's a reason to talk real estate. And if you're going to talk real estate, a lot of times that's going to lead to referrals. So I just love what you're doing here. And all right, so let's talk about the event, right?
Mm-hmm.
They come in and they're there for the bingo event. What time did you do the event?
The event starts at 6 and goes till 8:30.
And what night of the week did you do it on?
That one was a Tuesday, I believe.
Okay, so, I mean that's amazing too.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing that you did this on a Tuesday night and just had so many people. If I were going to coach somebody on doing that, I would do it a Saturday night, right? I would do 5 to 7 or 6 to 8 on a Saturday. It's going to increase your attendance. More people are going to be able to attend. They're going to be fresher because they're not having worked all week, that kind of thing. You had it on Tuesday night, Tuesday bingo, 6 to 8:30. And when do people start showing up? Do they start showing up at 5 or do they start?
Yeah. 5 o'clock usually. Yeah. Yep.
I love that. I love that. So you've got an hour that you're interacting and talking to people and luckily filtering them a little bit so that you don't have 240 people talk to at one time. Right.
Right.
Do you have a registration table?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And do you display your prizes at the registration table?
No, they're not at the excuse me, the registration table. They're on where the bingo caller is. But there's basically a
So they
small.
see him the whole dang event.
Oh
I
yeah,
love it. And
absolutely.
then do you, who's taking pictures and videos?
We have staff on people on staff do that. We have a photographer and a videographer, and then also certain people on our team. Heather would probably do the Facebook lives, those types of things.
So I've got on this notes about selling extra bingo cards. So what is selling extra bingo? Are you selling them to get more donations? So that somebody could actually set with 3 or 4 bingo cards and work it
Right.
at the same time?
Yep.
Is
Yep.
that what you do?
Yep.
And okay, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter how much they are.
Oh,
Because people can say 10 or 25 or 100 or
right.
whatever it
Right.
is.
Yep.
And then who verifies the bingos?
The caller does.
Okay,
That would,
that's
and
good.
Carla is our caller. So
Okay, okay, I like that. All
yeah.
right, and then let's see. I mean, such good stuff here. Do they get anything? Do people who don't win bingo or win the door prizes? Does anybody else get anything? Do you have a swag bag or anything like
Yeah,
that at the event?
we'll make sure we do that. There's different types of things, any for can koozies to glasses, as far as Yeti cups, those types of things. We try to keep that within budget because the object is to raise money. So you don't want to go out and spend $50 a person or anything like that. Otherwise, you're upside down and your purpose isn't being completed with that
And
higher.
the flip side too is they've donated, and everybody walks away with something.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not be tit for tat, right? It might not be $10 worth of goods, but it's something,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
and some,
Yep.
you know.
Yep. Yeah. So you certainly want to have something there to hand out that it's going to have some identification linking you to the event and those types of things and the reason why they're there.
And if it's branded, that's okay too, right?
Yep.
Right.
Brand.
I mean, and
Yep.
they're sitting at their next barbecue with a koozie that has Chris Fritch team on it. That's okay too.
Yep.
So it
Yep.
all
And it's an
all comes
event
together.
goal too. So I mean, where'd you get that? Well, I was at a bingo event. Had a great time. Oh, really? I'd like to go to that. And then boom, all of a sudden they're there and they get talking to them and they become a client. And then you get the opportunity to invest in their name again when they have a closing or something like that. So it kind of keeps working itself and kind of just rolls right down the mountain.
All right, so let's talk about follow up, right? So the event happens, everybody has a good time. They leave about 9 or 9:30, even though we're supposed to leave at 8:30, right? Which is all
Mhm.
good. It's a great evening. Everybody had a good time. And so, what's your follow up afterwards?
Uh, as far as with the people,
Yeah.
so we always send out another email and text thanking them for coming to our event and reminding them of our next upcoming events that they'd like
Mm,
to participate in them. So it gives you an opportunity there again to invite them to
I hope everybody
the,
heard that.
the next
If
one.
if
Yep.
you don't have a next event, it's really hard to invite people to the next event with an email and a text message.
Mhm.
But when you have a next event, that should be part of the follow up. I mean, Chris, what do you see as the importance of having a series of events instead of maybe just one event?
Well, the biggest thing is one event might not be for a particular person. I've got clients that have pulled up to my events, and all of a sudden I'll get a call from them, and are you nuts? That's way too big of a crowd. I'm not going in there. He can't make that work. But a smaller event, like or something where it's not so crowded, like the shoot, he'll attend. So if it's if we have 500 people sitting there at a client appreciation event, he's not coming in. And your bingo players are a lot of times aren't your shooters, and your shooters are a lot of times aren't your golfers.
Hmm.
You
True.
know, and then so you try to have events where people can participate and have fun, and then you want to sprinkle in the especially for your clients, because those are the people you know and love and who know and love you, that you give them the opportunity to participate. We do a Thanksgiving pie giveaway.
Hmm.
You know, we do an event at a brewery, just for all client appreciation stuff. So it's not just come give us your money. It's come show up and this when we're gonna love on you all year long. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I love it. I
yeah.
love it. And then what do you do with the photos and the videos from the event as part of your follow-up plan?
For the follow plan, we post them, thanking everybody again. So they're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, those types of things. And we want to thank them, and because they have to take time out of their day to come and do these things, and we sure appreciate it. It's just a great opportunity to see them again. Yeah.
I love it. Before we even get to the final words of wisdom, how would somebody reach out to you if they have referrals for the Minneapolis area? Because I have to tell you, everybody in the world, especially in the United States, who has somebody moving to the Minneapolis area has to be thinking, if I'm going to send them, I'm going to send them to him because he's in constant touch. He's going to make me look like a hero for referring him and his team. So how would somebody get in touch with you if they had a referral for the Minneapolis area?
Just go to chrisfritchteam.com, or call me directly. Just try the office, 763-360-9059. That's our direct dial to the office as well. We'd be more than happy to help anybody with their people.
I love it. All right. Final words of wisdom for somebody who is perhaps looking to do a Red Wagon Bingo event or a series of events like a yearly appreciation plan. What would you tell
them? Find something that they're passionate about. This just happens to be a local family that went through a tough time, and we just ended up being friends, and that's a great thing. But I mean, there's all different aspects of things that you can be passionate about. I mean, I've seen people do stuff for homeless dogs and stuff like that, raise money for that because that's their passion, or the police force, firefighters, any emergency, anything like that. There's a ton of foundations out there always looking, and you can, I personally, just because of the community aspect, I like to pick something local that you can attach. We were just fortunate that St. Jude's attached to it as well, and being able to be in connection with St. Jude worldwide, meeting with the CFOs and the CEOs down in Memphis. I mean, we know this company inside and out, this foundation, so it's good to be a part of it. And yeah, definitely find it, own it, love it, and work it. It's you're there for a reason. You're there to help those people and that situation, and it's okay to do it.
I love it. And you're on pace to raise $100,000 for the foundation this year.
Yeah,
I mean, six figures. That's incredible. Congratulations.
We've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years, but that first year when we had to commit to 10,000 so we could be the St. Jude Walk and Run presenting sponsor, that was a little difficult. But as you grow and you learn more and you do better, and I can't thank the people that are involved with me enough on the team here, setting things up. They work very, very hard, and they're very good at what they do. So I'm fortunate there because they make our events look great. So again, it's not all me, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, the who is not you, right? I mean, that's part of being a great leader, in my opinion. And the other part of this is that, it's not your first bingo event. So they can look back to last year's event to see like what they can do and what they can do even better. So it gets better every year. So many people ad hoc events. They're like, oh, we should do an event. So they do an event and they're like, I didn't really like it all that much. So I'll do a different one. So they do a different one. Then they do a different one. Well, they're reinventing the wheel every single time. Whereas maybe it's just stick to it and make it a little better. Make it a little more passion driven from you. Make it a little more welcoming for more people, whatever it may be, and make it better instead of making it different. I think that's a great thing is, your team is great at what they're doing when they set up events because they don't just set up one event a year or one event with 2 weeks. Like, let's do an event in 2 weeks. You're not running fire drills every month in your office. You're like, all right, we got 8 weeks out, we got an event, so let's start putting the plan in place. So I love that. This is outstanding. You're outstanding. One thing we talked about, the 5 sequences that are in Event Mastery, the planning sequence, And people need to know that the efficiencies in the planning, the efficiency, the time, energy, effort, money savings is really in the planning. And then the invitation sequence is next, and the power is in the invitation. You got to realize he's going to invite people who can't come, but because of the invitation, they refer him, they think about him, they give recommendations to his team, they review his team because they're in communication. The power is the invitation, and please note that the invitation is naturally attractive. You're saying, please come hang out with us. Please come towards us. And that's what we always want with our business model, is to be attractive, not chasing. And then the confirmation sequence is, here's the thing about the confirmation. The attendance is in the confirmation. If you want people to attend the event, then make sure you confirm. 3 days before, 24 hours before for sure, and then 1 hour before. And that's sometimes the one that people forget, is the 1 hour before. And then the event sequence. The energy is in the event. The reason for all the communication, the reason for the smiles, the reason for the laughter, the reason for the call nights, the reason for the communication is the event. The event is the energy around all this. So make sure the event has energy for you. When you're talking about the event, do you have energy? I've talked to Chris 8 times over the last 12 months about his shoot. Every time he talks about it, he lights up. I mean, does your event light you up? And if not, then maybe it's a different event. But the energy is in the event. And then the last one is the follow-up sequence. And we all know the fortune is in the follow-up. A lot of referrals, a lot of business is done after the value is received by your database. They want to reciprocate, they want to give back, and they do that in the form of investments, commercial buildings. That was his closing that he just recently did, $3.6 million worth of commercial building. And the fortune is in the follow-up. Photos, videos, more communication. It's like his community is a living, breathing referral culture. And that's what you want to develop. And Chris, I'm telling you, I love coaching you. I do. I love everything you're doing. I'm like a proud father in a way, even though you're a grandpa of 3. I have no idea how that. You look better than I do. Like what?
I don't know about that.
Like we gotta. Like I gotta figure out your magic there, man. So
4th grandkid on the way. So.
Oh my gosh, it's a great thing.
It's
Thing.
a lot of fun.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Chris, for being our guest here today on the Referrals podcast. You lit it up again.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. And like I say, if anybody has any questions on any of this stuff, please feel free to reach out to me on our website, or just call us directly, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it.
That was Chris Fritch from the chrisfritchteam.com. chrisfritchteam.com out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's where your real estate referrals should go. And ladies and gentlemen, listen, if you're not convinced Event Mastery is for you, then man, maybe Referrals Podcast is not for you. eventmastery.com, check it out. eventmasteryclass.com, check it out. The bottom line here is that events are leverageable and scalable, and instead of getting 1 or 2 referrals every once in a while, you could get 12 or 24 or 36, or we've had people get over 200 referrals in one day. So the bottom line is check that out at eventmastery.com. And once again, thank you so much for being here today and listening again or watching again to Referrals Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode of Referrals Podcast. See you next time.